Good morning. Today, I wanted to try to talk about vocal tics in a little more detail, including how we go about trying to address vocal tics. One of the qualities of vocal tics is that, unlike other motor tics, they often cause a lot of social distress. So when we end up making noises or saying things, other people are more likely to pay attention to those than they are to some of the other movements. Like if I had a tic with one of my hands, people might not give a lot of attention to that. But if I end up saying a word or making some other noise with my mouth, then they are probably going to pay more attention to that, which means it tends to draw more attention to us, and that can feel very uncomfortable. And if you remember from what we talked about a little bit before, if we feel more uncomfortable or more stressed by a tic, then the tic tends to become a little bit stronger. That makes vocal tics a little bit more challenging to address. In addition to that, vocal tics involve muscles that we usually don't have as much intentional control over. So when I'm talking, for example, right now, I'm moving many muscles inside my body, and I'm not giving a lot of thought to moving those muscles. My thought is only on what I intend to try to say. So these aren't muscles that we are used to really being aware of or trying to intentionally control, and that makes them a little bit more difficult to target as well when we're trying to reduce those tics. So one thing we want to do is again go back to really trying to examine, what is this tic like, what movements does it involve, and how does it perform? Now I can think about the movement of my lips or my tongue. I can try to begin noticing sensations in my throat and feelings in my lungs or my diaphragm, the muscle that kind of sits under the lungs and is involved in breathing. We can begin to become aware of and exert more intentional control over those muscles. But it takes practice. It's not easy, and it's going to need a lot of patience to be able to achieve the result that we hope. One of the first places I like to start is usually to ask people to practice doing some intentional, slow, controlled breathing. Now, a lot of people will use relaxed breathing exercises to try to help make a person more calm and relaxed, and that can be a nice benefit when working on this, but that's really not our objective when we're trying to use it for treatment of tics. So if we're using deep breathing exercises, we want to try to practice it so that we are becoming aware of all the movement involved in breathing, and so that we are beginning to practice that deliberate, intentional control with breathing. So one way I would ask you to try practicing that is, of course, you take a deep breath in, and it helps to begin counting so you have some idea of how long you're doing it. So it makes you more aware of it. So you might breathe in to a count of, say, 4. And then you're going to be needing to breathe out. And this is one of the first places people tend to make a mistake, is they get more focused on breathing in than they are on breathing out. So when breathing out, you want to really focus on pushing all of that air out. And you should be breathing out typically a little bit longer than you breathe in. So when you breathe in for 4, you might breathe out for 6 seconds, or count of 6. Of course, adjust this so that it's comfortable for you. If you're running out of air by 4 or 5, it probably doesn't do a lot of good to keep trying to breathe out. But we want to make sure we breathe all the way out, fully emptying the lungs, and really noticing how that diaphragm muscle is moving and what it feels like. This is just a way to begin building that awareness. And building that awareness of these muscles is something that takes practice and that we're going to use as we begin trying to treat the vocal tics. If you have any questions, you can send me a message on the email that is associated to these videos, and I will try to respond as quickly as I can. Thank you.